If you like history, Ashio would be a pretty baller place to go if all three history museums were open at the same time. I've never seen all three history museums open at the same time. You know, if you're into history, Ashio would be a baller place to go if all three museums were open. But all three museums are never open at the same time, it feels. If you like history, Ashio would be a baller place to visit if you could catch them on a day when all three museums are open. But it seems like all three are never open at the same time. Wait, none of them are open today. So, just kind of a quick high-level overview. This area, they discovered copper here around 1600, and then it was important for the Tokugawa shogunate because they used the copper here to produce coinage. Yes, during the Tokugawa era, Japan was literally copper, silver, gold coins. Anyways, that continued. It became harder and harder to mine copper. Then when the Meiji period started, they got modern technology and modern copper mining methods, which increased copper production again. At one point, they were responsible for about 40% of the copper production in Japan. Now, unfortunately, part of how they mined copper at that time involved very poisonous chemicals. And then this ended up becoming the site of really the first major pollution disaster in Japan. And then there was protests over workers' rights, workers' pay, so there was rioting over that. That was 1907. Then they continued to produce copper in World War II. POW labor was used, and prison labor, slave labor, whatever you want to call it, for producing copper. And then it closed in the 1970s, but they continued to melt down for an ore that they purchased for copper usage. Now, it's a little bit of a ghost town, and there's a museum that we're going to. So this is where the union offices would have been. Looks like it's just now a parking lot. It's closed for renovations until the 6th of next month. Oh well. So, unfortunately, the museum's closed until the 8th. I kind of feel good that I'm not the only person that showed up, looked at the sign of the gate, and we're like, oh, damn. Anyways, fortunately, because it is a weekend, the other museum is open. I can still explore around town. Last time I came here, it was like a kind of cloudy, slightly rainy day. And I did the museum, the one that's closed right now. And then the other museum was closed, which is I'm going to do later when it opens. So I'm wandering around town, saw deer, saw tanuki. Anyways, I'm coming back and it just absolutely starts downpouring, and I end up, because the door was open, I ended up going into the old city hall to hide from the rain. And there were a few people in there just like, oh yeah, it's raining, and waiting for the train. So all over town, they have these pictures of what it used to look like. So for example, the police station used to be here. Now there's an abandoned apartment building. Old Ashio Junior High School. Open till 1991. Wait, is it that building? Has that thing been closed basically since I was born? Oh, you know what? The more I look at it, there's a lot of weeds. Oh, the court and public prosecutor's office was here until 1978. Now it's an apartment building that I think is abandoned. No, it's not abandoned. There's cars there. Okay, now it's just an apartment building. I think they're currently closed for renovation. I'm not sure if they're ever going to reopen. That's one of the problems with these little cities in Japan. Their tourism things get closed and then it'll be years later and they never reopen. But here's some of the worker dorms. When this is the only English sign in a train station, A, you know you're rural. B, you know there was somebody who misbehaved. We got quite a bit of rolling stock here. I wonder if these were originally connected to the mine. So this this whole railway originally was built to serve the mine. And then eventually, well, it was originally built to serve the mine, and then it was leased to Japan National Railway, and then it would have been nationalized with the other rail lines, and then now it's in the hands of a third sector company. So that happened to a lot of these rail lines too. They just became something that the Japan Railway didn't want to run anymore. So the community still wanted them, the cities. So they became part of a third sector railway that was a lot of times created a lot by the cities. They had a big influence in that. This was the mine's guest house. So when, I guess you'd call them ownership. So the Zabatsu or, you know, guests of theirs came, this is where they would stay. Probably also used quite a bit by mine management. I'm not sure. It is a museum, but it is under renovation. Like a lot of things around here. I've actually never come here and it's been open. This is my second time in Ashio. Hopefully it's open my third time. Probably not. I haven't seen any timeline about when they're going to fix it and reopen it, but at least it's not just sitting there getting into worse and worse repair. I wonder if this was the old train bridge. End of the line. Well, end of the line now. Historically, there were 2 more stations, but they got cut and no longer exist. So now, Mato is the last station. So just to give you an idea, you can see the tracks and the rail bed continue going on to the next station that has been closed. I mean, don't even think this station gets a lot of traffic. I checked on Wikipedia, not always the best source of this information, but the stop that I got off at, which is the one closest to 2 of the museums in Ashio, daily average is 57 riders. The thing to understand about Ashio is that they were pretty much mining all over. I think by the end they had over 1,000 kilometers of tunnels from mining. So if you keep going up towards where the stations used to be, you're going to get a lot more ruins up there, not so much museum stuff. Now, they do have a bus. I feel like if I wanted to check out the upper stuff, the best idea would be come here, get off at the last station, get on a bus, go up as high as I can, and then walk back down, which actually would be a good adventure for another trip. I didn't realize this, but the Watarase Railway is really popular with train otakus. I've run into a bunch of them taking photos. I like trains. I wouldn't say I'm a train otaku. Look, there's a bunch right down there. See, your boy's got ADD, not autism. Look at them. They're all down there with the vests. Huge crowd of them. They're probably pissed I'm in the photo. I don't know why there are seats here. Not a bad view. That must be the primary school. All right, the following shot is either gonna look really cool or really stupid. Whoa. This one is pretty recent. So there was a hotel here from 1903 to 1997. Looks like it was a 3-story hotel, and now it is a private house. From what I can gather, there used to be a few hotels around here, but now there are 0. None show up. None that I know of. Even Airbnbs, looked it up, none show up. I wonder if, as far as if they wanted to increase tourism, particularly having 3 museums being a historical site, I wonder if the lack of hotels and places to stay is going to handicap them. But chicken and the egg. No demand to stay here. Hotel's not going to work. Is this place even open? It looks closed. Maybe it's one of those places they got like 1 employee at the desk and all 3 museums are closed. Oh. All right, well, we did get to walk around the town and take a look at things. Kind of in hindsight, wish I had checked the museum first, because if I saw it was closed, I probably would have gone up higher, taking a bus, but I didn't. That'll be an adventure maybe for another time. Maybe. Maybe. Like if this happens to me ever again. I mean, we did get to look around the town, but I am gonna just wait for the next train to head back towards home. So it wasn't a complete waste. We did get to go look around the town, enjoy a little bit of a trip. Fortunately, all 3 of the museums were closed. So why don't you go into the comment section, tell me about this trip. Which place do you wish was open, or which was the biggest disappointment? That's coming from the wrong direction. That's not my train. So some other interesting things in the area. There is a campground here, which I've always thought would be kind of fun to stay at. There's an onsen here. So if you climb up this mountain, there's a particular time of year where there's a flower that blooms there that's pretty much only found on this mountain range and in this mountain. The other thing is, from this parking lot, you can hike up here, and then you can look down on, they've dammed up a bunch of poisoned water up here, so it's like a brown, poisonous lake. Obviously, they don't want you getting that close to it. Oh, that's cool, and hold safe. All right, my train back is coming. Unfortunately, all 3 of the museums were closed today. One of them I knew was going to be closed. The other one, I should check the website and not trusted Google. The third one, I can't believe it was on a whiteboard that it was temporarily closed. Anyways, please go down to the comment section. Tell me what you thought of this trip, parts you liked, parts you were disappointed about. Tell me what was the biggest disappointment. Which one would you really want to see, but it was closed? Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in our next adventure.
Maita!